Man, I finally kicked my Balatro addiction. Luckily, Monster Train 2 just came out, and oh, a random event. I wonder what. Ah, Balatro! So Monster Train 2 is a deck-building roguelite of you and your team riding towards heaven to kick butt, but is good? Which is nice because these games make me more productive as a person. I have them in the background while I work and a music video on the other screen to give me rhythm. Now this is how I approach roguelites. Rarely do I actually make it to the highest tiers. Instead, I focus on just getting wacky. I like repeating the game over and over again until I get the run I want. How do I do this consistently? 10% luck, 20% luck, 15% luck, 5% luck. Sure, every now and then I think about trying hard, but that's a rare occasion. There are other considerations about this game, but let's move on for now. I will not be comparing Monster Train 2 to Monster Train 1 because I don't remember 1. I mean, clearly enough. Anyway, let's talk visuals. Before I get into the graphics and visuals, I think you all need to know how I actually play these games, as in really see for yourself. This is what I usually see and hear. Because the slowest speed is... it's a little too slow for me, too sluggish. I know others will probably play somewhere in the middle, but still, card art is fantastic and evocative. More importantly to me, it is easily identifiable. I know what card I am playing at a glance, which lets me play at the speed I want. Enemies are a bit of a blur to me, admittedly, except for the bosses who hang around outside the train. Your units, on the other hand, are easily distinguishable. Leaders are clearly that, or champions rather, and often indicate what they can do or the general theme of their abilities, which is very welcome. Look at this little mad scientist. Clearly he looks like he's about to blow himself up and everyone around him. More on that later. So the art design is on point for this one, even if it is a little cartoonish, which is actually no problem for me. It works perfectly and serves its purpose for someone like me. Again, I play like this. And I still know that the sound is crisp and the soundtrack is a certified list of bangers. I do have some vague memories of Monster Train 1, and what I do remember are some of the sound effects. Very distinctive, very memorable, and crossover jump scare. They brought some of those sound effects back. I'm pretty sure. Why fix what ain't broke, apparently? The music is just solid all around, very evocative of the stress and urgency of your mission to punch angels and titans in the face. I don't have many clear ways to describe how good music is, so I'm just gonna skip to random moments in my test footage and let the music speak for itself. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now for the meat of this, the gameplay. Look, it's a deck-building card game. You know how it goes. Upgrade, draft, cut. Probably not in that order. However, you can further customize units and spells, and now you can also modify whole rooms. Oh, and we have active abilities that you need to click to activate, the purpose of which is for me to forget that they exist, even though they have a reminder on the lower right telling you that you have an unused ability. And now we also have equipment. Each unit can equip one. Your starting cards are defined by your leader and your sub-faction. Each leader or champion comes with a different set of upgrades and a separate starting card, and each faction can either be the lead or the secondary. That's a lot of potential combinations. The goal? Defeat enemies who enter your train and stop them from destroying your pyre. It sits atop the carriage, and the enemies have to work through 3 floors, bottom to top. You play units on each floor, cast your spells and your turn, and the fight is on. Surviving enemies climb up after one round of combat, unless it is the boss wave, who will fight you to the death. Anyone who gets to the pyre gets to fight your heart, and your heart hits hard. Or your pyre. I like calling it the heart. We gotta get through 8 levels of heaven, 9 if we're at endgame, and an infinite number if we're feeling spicy. You get upgrades after beating the boss at 3 and 6, both for the train and your champion. As you finish runs, you unlock more levels. Each faction gets a second leader at level 5 and more cards onwards. Difficulty of each run goes up to 10, but probably higher. You probably have to unlock that. Personally, it's a breeze up until 5. Then, it gets difficult. Since this isn't a game I plan on going ham on, its primary appeal to me is weird interactions. What weird thing can I do that seems fun and gives me big numbers? Is it interesting? Are the potential synergies enough to make me curious? Yup. For example, we are running Orechi. He is deeply unstable and thus will explode. He has friends that love exploding. The good news is with reanimation, he can come back to life and do it again. Yep. Then we've got Spores. Usually deadly only to me and my allergies, now you can keep making them as a troop, a stacking creature that gets bigger and can get armor until you're really just raising mold as a pet. Hell yeah, I'll make it a Spore. Then there's Armor Gear Mans and Moonplay, and you know what, there's just a lot. There's enough non-narrative emotional context for me to want to put time into it, which is a long-winded way to say that I think it's fun putting stuff together in Monster Train 2. What helps is that the game is extremely forgiving in terms of player input. Here, you can restart not just turns, but entire battles in case you misread something, or the enemies did something you didn't expect, or a mechanic did not work the way you expected. Maybe you zoned out a little. No amount of save scumming is gonna save a bad build or a bad choice you made 2 shops ago, but it can save you from a misclick, misunderstanding, or hurried play. It is difficult, but not punishing. There's a number of game modes. There are challenges, a daily challenge, the previously mentioned endless mode, gaining new gameplay features, and progressing the story. Involves unlocking more cards by completing achievements, such as casting a certain number of equipment. Even unlocking factions requires some achievement hunting, which is fine and totally expected. So anyway, from this point onwards, spoilers for some gameplay parts, and I guess the story? Question mark? It's not a massive twist, and it doesn't really determine what you do in the game. It doesn't affect your in-game decisions, but I found it fun, so if you want to preserve some of that fun, skip to here. Okie dokie, you good? Alright. So after you unlock 6 hearts or pirates, you get a few unique visitors, the factions from the first game, mostly intact and ready to play with you. That was a nice moment. I really liked that. They could have just dropped those in and just shrugged, they're still here. But no, they used it to pace the game and keep you from being overwhelmed with choice at the start. The story itself is very simple. Heaven is under assault. From heaven. Cthulhu heaven. Angels and demons must come together to form old covenants, blah 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 blah, statement ends. Look, I'm just surprised that there is a story. It's okay, nothing to write home about, but compelling enough to be fun, and I do want to see how it ends. If the universe of Monster Train does have lorehounds, I think they'll find a lot of what happens very interesting. I mean, that's it really. I don't really have anything to say about the story. It is not why I'm here. I'm just happy that some effort was put into it. Final verdict. The game got me to play it pretending that I was getting more footage for this review when I really just wanted to make a Moonshift build. That's how addictive it is. Barring any issues with the aesthetics or sound, if you like this sort of game, you will likely love it. More importantly, for everybody who hasn't played the first Monster Train, it is very much enjoyable, playable, and understandable even if you don't know what happened or how to play the first one, which I guess it has to be said sometimes. Anyway. Strong recommend. If that sounds good to you, check it out on Steam, and it is free on Xbox Game Pass. I am Patinator. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. I'll see you later.